We have a substitution. What am I, so is doing the pledge of allegiance?
Yeah, it says right
No,
here.
that's okay.
Okay,
No,
okay,
I'll just
okay.
stand here and try to look good.
Yeah, I got it. Look regal.
Looks regal.
Are you guys all ready? You guys good? Okay. All you?
Start.
Yeah, sure.
Hello, and welcome to New Milford. I'm Council President Randy Duffy, and Mayor Petrino has asked me to fill in as he has a work commitment. We're joined here this morning by our wonderful assembly person, Lisa Swain, members of New Milford Council, and assorted leaders in youth sports in New Milford. Our Congressman Josh Gottheimer is here today to speak about affordability in youth sports. Kids participate in our local programs, have fun while learning a sport. They also learn about leadership, physical fitness, sportsmanship, and community spirit. Sometimes, though, the cost of these activities mount up and families are unable to participate. Congressman Josh Gottheimer is here now to help with his plan for making these programs more affordable for everyone. Congressman Josh Gottheimer.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And
Thank you so much. That's fine, isn't it?
You're welcome.
before we get going, I do want to call on a couple people to speak, if that's okay. But first, Lisa Swain, our phenomenal assemblywoman and leader, is going to lead us in the pledge.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.
And, okay. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. And now we're going to hear from Jason Mitchell. Thank you so much, Jason, from the YMCA. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jason Mitchell. I'm the Director of Sports and Recreation for the New Milford YMCA Program Center, a branch of the Greater Bergen County YMCA. I want to begin by thanking Congressman Gottheimer for his leadership and vision in introducing the PLAY Act. This legislation is a tremendous step forward in making youth sports more affordable and accessible for families. I also want to recognize our distinguished YMCA team for their dedication and support. Our Executive Director, who's here in attendance, Jason Kelly, and our Program Directors, Danielle Abreu and Bob Kilmurray. Their commitment is inspiring and makes programs like ours possible. At the YMCA, we see every day how youth sports changes lives. Sports build teamwork, discipline, and resilience. They promote fitness and healthy habits, and most importantly, they provide kids with a safe and structured environment to grow, learn, and build confidence. We are extremely fortunate at the YMCA to have incredible coaches who make this possible and bring this mission to life. Two I want to highlight today. One is in attendance, one could not be here, is Pablo Palacios and Yasmin Bird. Coaches like Pablo and Yasmin are rare. They don't just teach basketball or instructors, they teach life lessons. They model sportsmanship. They're mentors and role models who teach life lessons that go way beyond the game. They instill sportsmanship, encourage effort, and help young people to believe in themselves. Coaches like them are few and far between. The impact they have, they go far beyond the field or the court. We're grateful to have them as part of the YMCA family. But here's the reality. We at the YMCA also know the challenges families face, and access to these supportive influences cost money. Too many families struggle to afford the rising cost of youth sports. Registration fees, uniforms, equipment, they all add up. And since the pandemic, participation has dropped. Not because kids don't want to play, but because families are being priced out and can no longer afford it. At the YMCA, we believe youth sports are much more about than winning games. They're about building friendships, creating lifelong memories, and developing the skills kids will carry with them throughout their lives. Even our very own distinguished Senator Cory Booker played college football. Leaders learn the fundamentals that set them up for life successes at places just like our YMCA in New Milford. Thanks to the PLAY Act Congress Gottheimer will be speaking on, more families will be able to access these opportunities. And that means more children learning, growing, and thriving through sports. On behalf of the YMCA, I want to thank Congressman Gottheimer for championing this cause and fighting for our kids and making sure that every child has a chance to learn, grow, and thrive through sports and recreation. His dedication to the health and well-being of our children and our families deserves its own thanks. So on behalf of all of us, thank you.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, man. Thank you so much. That was great. Thank you so much, Jason. I really appreciate it. I want to thank again my dear friend, Council President Duffy, and Councilman Seymour is here, and Hetty Grant, Councilwoman Grant is here, and Councilwoman Sanhusen is here. And again, you've met Jason from the YMCA in New Milford, and Pablo, who's a basketball coach. Pablo, you keep hiding away. Come on, man. You're the actual coach here. You know. Good job, man. Come on. Well, there we go, Pablo. And by the way, Lisa Swain, our Assemblywoman, who's not just the Appropriations Chair in the State Assembly and a triathlete herself, but she coaches triathletes and swimmers, including youth swimmers. So I want to thank her also for being a good coach.
Thank you.
I want to thank law enforcement for taking care of our families. Really appreciate it. Anybody else a coach that I missed here? You know, we got a great veteran. Any coaches? I coached soccer once, and then my kids told me I cannot coach again. But again, it's a beautiful day to be here at Kennedy Field in New Milford, a strong community that dates back to the 1600s. New Milford is known as the birthplace of Bergen County, right? It's like with a very rich history of wonderful families and thriving small businesses, great schools, and great people. And like any good Jersey community, the town loves to come together on fields like this one for youth sports. It's a beautiful field. And earlier this year, I know the Knights won their first sectional title in the wrestling program's history, the school here. And with standout players like Jake Johnson, I know the football team will build on last season's success. Then there's soccer rec and tennis rec and basketball and baseball. The list goes on of town recreational sports. What brings us together is the same things that bring so many families together across Jersey, rec sports. And like anybody in any Jersey community, they know that the weekends are spent driving your kids around to rec sports. Mine was this weekend. These leagues, which are made possible by the tireless work of so many dedicated coaches, town staff, and volunteers like those with me today, not just in our town rec sports and our school sports, but of course our nonprofit sports that come out of places like the YMCA. They teach our children life lessons on teamwork and dedication and sportsmanship, keeps them active, keeps them healthy, and they create friendships that will last a lifetime. Keeps them off their phones and social media, which to me is a very important thing, away from video games and out of trouble. According to the CDC, higher activity levels equal better academic performance in the classroom. Participation in youth team sports has been linked with lower rates of depression and anxiety, reduced risks of suicide and drug abuse. Plus, being part of a team improves self-esteem and confidence. As a parent of two kids who've played and continue to play rec sports, I've seen firsthand how our children benefit from these programs. Every kid in Jersey who wants to should have the opportunity to write their own success story playing a sport. I really believe that. Every kid in the town should have a chance to be able to play a rec sport if he or she wants to. But here's the challenge. Youth sports have become more and more expensive, and for many families, they've become unaffordable. I hear about this all the time. Parents come up to me and say, I want my kids to play, but I just can't make it work. I got a few kids. You add it all up and all the fees and the equipment and everything, and it's just becoming a fortune that I can't afford. The growing registration fees, the uniforms, the equipment. When we need to ensure that we're doing everything possible to make them more affordable, and that's why we're here today on this beautiful day. Last year, the average U.S. family spent $1,016 on their child's primary sport, a 46% increase over 2019. It's a huge number. When you include the cost of multiple sports, the average family paid nearly $1,500, and that's for one kid for 1 year. $1,500 bucks. now. Imagine if a family has 2, 3, or 4 kids, like many do here in our community, and they all play more than one sport across different seasons throughout the year, and you see how it can actually break the bank. Add to that, of course, the rising costs of groceries and energy bills and childcare and clothing and property taxes and the tariff tax from this administration on nearly everything, and look out, family budget. We're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars, and families are feeling squeezed. Our job is to help them feel less squeezed and to make life more affordable for them. Local nonprofits like the YMCA and towns work hard to keep costs down, but even they are feeling the hit of higher costs. Staffing costs, equipment costs, and all those costs affect them too. In Hackensack, for example, the fee for youth soccer for the fall is $150 and will increase if you don't register soon. Registration fees for one child for the Sussex County YMCA basketball program can cost up to $160. Ridgewood YMCA soccer is up to $175. From travel teams that are nonprofits like the Wyckoff Torpedoes, the 8 to 14-year-old programs cost $549 for the year and $750 for high schoolers. When you add to registration fees the cost of shoes or lacrosse sticks and pads, which can cost $300 or $400 or more for each kid, all these costs can be overwhelming. A baseball bat for teens costs between $150 and $400. A glove can be $70 or more. Soccer cleats, $50 to $200. If your child plays different sports with different cleats for different safety, you can see why this stuff is expensive. The result, too many families can't afford to let their kids play sports or all the sports they want to and get all the benefits they provide. So it's not surprising that children from lower income families, especially in urban areas, are nearly half as likely to play sports as children from homes with higher incomes. Half as likely if you're from a harder pressed family. Across our state now, 46% of young people ages 6 to 17 aren't participating in sports. In 2022, a study found that nearly 60% of families say youth sports are a financial strain on them. And that's why they can't afford to sign their kids up. Again, I think every kid in Jersey who wants to be able to play a rec sport should be able to afford to play a rec sport. And now with President Trump's tariffs, the cost of all this stuff is going to keep going up. And on top of this, President Trump's proposed budgets will slash $12 billion in federal funding for schools, forcing our school districts to actually have to make impossible decisions about what to fund and what to cut. And we know that school sports are on the chopping block. After-school programs are also getting cut in the president's budget, which includes sports programs, putting more pressure on local recreation sports to give a kid a physical outlet outside of school. I'm worried this will force even more kids to not be able to participate, and we'll have to sit on the stands over there instead of playing on the field. Rec team sports are not about becoming the next Derek Jeter, Joe Flacco, or Carly Lloyd, although we're going to get some of those out of Jersey because those are all fine Jersey athletes, right? I want more kids coming off this field playing in the NFL. That's my hope. But the bottom line is, even if they don't play at the NFL, I want them to have a great bunch of years being able to play, right? I don't want them staring at screens at home or being alone after school if they could be on the field. They can make lifelong friends and learn those lifelong habits of staying active and healthy, physically and mentally. That's something more of our nation's kids need. We look at childhood obesity at an all-time high, and the U.S. has received low grades for physical activity among young people. According to the CDC, nearly 1 in 5 children aged 3 to 17 is diagnosed with a mental or behavioral health condition. 40% of adolescents aged 12 to 17 reported persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness. Rec sports help. They get kids out of the house, they get them moving, they get them with friends. They don't just burn calories and raise metabolism, but they improve mental health and physical strength. So it's clear. Let's do everything we can to make sure all of our kids who want to be on the field or on the court can be, and set up those long-term great habits. So working with local youth athletes, coaches, and parents, I'm announcing new bipartisan legislation called the Promoting Lifelong Activity for Youth Act, or the PLAY Act, to help parents afford the rising costs of rec sports and keep kids where they belong after school, on the courts or on the field, not at home in front of a screen. The PLAY Act will allow parents to use the Child Independent Care Tax Credit for expenses related to youth sports and other physical activities, up to $2,000 a year. It will help parents pay for their children's league registration fees and sports equipment. Right now, families can deduct up to 50% of their qualifying expenses, up to $3,000 for one child or $6,000 for two children. But none of those dollars right now for that deduction can go to rec sports. My proposal, my legislation will change that. I'm also proposing that we increase the child independent tax credit to up to $4,000 for one child and $7,000 for two children or more. Let's increase that tax credit for children, and let's allow those dollars to go to help pay for rec sports. The plan will put money directly back in the pockets of families to help offset those rising costs of rec sports, including town leagues and nonprofits. It can't be used for profit teams or for private lessons. Again, only for nonprofits or town rec teams. Second, instead of slashing investments that support youth programs that help our children, we need to invest in programs, including sports, to make our children happy and healthier. The PLAC will put in place a new federal grant program to invest in rec youth sports programs, including town leagues and nonprofit teams like those of the YMCA. So it will help give grants to YMCAs, it'll help give grants to our town rec teams, not just to the families. We're gonna help offset some of those costs. And help get this legislation across the finish line, I joined the Bipartisan Congressional Caucus on Youth Sports, a group of us working across the aisle to fight to expand access to facilities, increase funding for programs like the ones we're talking about today, and put in place policies that will help develop young athletes. It may be competitive, but there's no reason why it's got to be partisan. There's nothing partisan about helping our kids with rec sports. I'm also writing to the U.S. Department of Education and asking them to please reconsider cutting dollars to schools and to after-school programs. We need to fund and invest in our children, not cut corners and go after their academic or their physical activities. The actions I'm announcing today are a win-win-win for kids, parents, and town rec leagues. I can't overstate how important it is, I think, that we keep our kids on fields and on courts. It's really important. It's about the future. It's about making sure that our kids are prepared. They create great memories. They learn. They stay active and healthy. They make friends. It helps their mental health and their physical health. And I have no doubt that kids in New Milford and across our country will create memories on fields like this one that will last a lifetime. And by working together in the greatest country in the world, there's nothing that can stop us. And I know that our best days will be ahead of us if we do good things like we're talking about today. Thanks, God bless, and God